Odd Encounters. Hi, my name is Josiah. I'm here to discuss the channel Odd Encounters. So this is the first D&D journal. This is a series where I'm just going to be talking about various other stuff. I'll kind of explain a little bit more of that in detail. This is episode 1, Instructions. So I'm here to say hello. So my name's Josiah. I am the DM, Dungeon Master, for the main group of players on this channel. Will be showing up later on into next month. So what are we? We're a YouTube channel with the goal of uploading mostly Dungeons & Dragons content, mostly us playing D&D. We're running a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. It's due to start in 1 month. The first session is on Saturday. Let me find out what date. This is tentative. Oh goodness. Saturday, August 24th. Saturday, August 24th is our first session. We will be playing at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, EST. And we'll be going till around 11, probably. That's tentative. It may end sooner, it may end later, but we'll be shooting for around then. It will be live on Twitch if things go well. If we get everything set up properly, it'll be live on Twitch. Might be live on YouTube, probably not, probably just Twitch. But it will be uploaded to YouTube within a day or two after. Hopefully the next day, if I can get everything together, it'll be uploaded to YouTube. That'll be the first one. So the first one on the 24th, or whatever I said, will be the most tentative. It has the biggest chance of not working and not being live. But I'm getting there now early, set everything up, and I have plenty of time. I have a full month to make sure that everything's set up properly. So it should be live and it should be uploaded on the 24th, and then the day after, which would be Sunday on the 25th, will be when we upload it to YouTube following. So that's the primary thing. I'm the Dungeon Master for that. I have 7 players on that table, which I'll introduce more at a later date. These are my notes right here. You can see them. I just have that because I also have maps for stuff. Like, whoop-ha, look at that. Anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. That is the number one thing that we're going to be doing, is the Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I will also be doing D&D journals, similar to this one. D&D journals, similar to this one. Those are going to include explaining the world that the campaign is in, the continent that the campaign is set, or the planet that our campaign is set on is a planet called Satira. That is a homebrew world created by me and one of my players and a close friend of mine, Daniel. You guys will meet him when we play, maybe before. This will be to explain Satira, to explain the various different continents, the mythos, the nations on the continents, the history of the planet, events like the Breach, which I'll be getting into in a later video, a guy named Mangiano, and the 7 Sons, which is a fun one. So we'll be diving into the mythos, the history, the plot, the nature of this world that we've created. We'll also be I'll be telling stories of previous campaigns, stories that I've had, events that have happened, stuff like that. I may try and bring in players who were present in those campaigns to share. Quite a few people who were present in my previous campaigns are present in this current campaign, so ideally, if they want to, they'll join me and we'll discuss stories and we'll take a walk down memory lane, and you guys can join us for that. We'll also be doing talkbacks following sessions at some point. This won't be a consistent thing. We're not Talks Machina. We're not Critical Role. We're not the Adventure Zone. We're doing our own thing. We're not going to try and mimic them. We're not going to try and be like them. It's going to be different. Sorry. But we will try and do talkbacks at some point, and we'll discuss like what happened in that session, how it made us feel, what we liked, what we didn't like, and we'll kind of go over stuff like that. The channel that this is on, Odd Encounters, will also include some various gaming Let's Plays or videos of us playing video games together, just because that's something we all enjoy doing. It'll include people who don't play at the D&D table present in those as well. I have a group of guys that I play video games with. They'll show up in videos from time to time. I have my roommate, Brett, who will be in a handful of videos as we try and teach him how to play computer games because he's so bad at them. and it's just going to be a blast, so I'm really excited. In the description to this video will be the Twitch. It'll be my personal Twitch where you guys can come and check me out while I play various other games, mostly Rainbow Six or Smite. And it'll also be the Twitch for the D&D group, which will host live Dungeons & Dragons on the Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, EST. We're also going to be creating an Instagram relatively soon. If I have made that by the time this video is uploaded, it will be in the description. If I have not made that by the time this video is uploaded, I'll update the description and put it in whenever it is made. But we will be creating an Instagram soon for Odd Encounters, which will include who we are, just fun pictures. It'll be a fun way of interacting with us, commenting, stuff like that, so we'll do that. Cool, now I'm gonna pivot into the world of the campaign. Alright, so the world. So, Satira. I've already mentioned the name of the world. It is Satira. That is Hebrew for conflict. Satira is Hebrew for conflict. So what we did with this world is me and Daniel, who's a really good buddy of mine, kind of worked together to create this world. We created this world with a little bit of help from other people, a guy named Austin. Each one of my players had a role in actually helping create the world. Even my roommate Brett has had an impact on creating the world that we're in. The world Satira has an entire history that goes roughly 13,000 years, about 13,500 years, give or take. We have a detailed history of events that have happened, of various other really cool experiences that the world has had. And I'll be diving more into those in later videos as we dive into the mythos and the world as a whole. But for now, you need to know that the planet's called Satira. The continent is one of 5 remaining continents. There were 7, but 2 of them exploded. And so there are now only 5 continents left. Lazamin is one of those 5 continents. So the continent of Lazamin is where the campaign is set, and then on the continent of Lazamin there is a kingdom called the Kingdom of Orvitsal, and then within the Kingdom of Orvitsal is the city of Asavrish. Now each one of those is Hebrew for something different. Lazamin is Hebrew for order, and then there's a reason for that, and the history of the continents. I'll do a video on the history of the continents now, I guess. Orvitsal is Hebrew for light and dark, and then Asavrish is just Hebrew for rat. And that's a reason. So the city where the campaign is set, the little city of Asavrish, here's a map, not of the city itself, but of the area around it. There's Asavrish, there's some of the forts around it. The city of Asavrish is just awful. I mean, it's just atrocious. It's flooded with rats, it's flooded mostly with rats, really big rats, rat hordes, stuff like that. It's grimy, it's dirty, it's corrupt. It's a very large city. It's the second largest city in the kingdom of Orvitsal, which is a very large kingdom. Lots of cloak and dagger within the city. Their guards there are like super privileged and proper. They have really cool mech suits, they have guns, they have like modern equipment, and so they're really against getting their hands dirty, so they tend to hire out and pay adventurers to handle things, especially outside the walls of the city itself. Because the city expands, there's the wall of the city, and then it expands and kind of sprawls around the wall. And so that area outside the wall is a much less rule-driven area, much less guards present, more adventure parties who kind of police the area and are paid to do various things out there. Also within the city, various factions. I have gone through and created roughly 20 different factions within the city itself, though each one of those factions will be doing different things at different times. Each one of those factions is going to be present and acting, and each one of those factions is, well, not each one, but a good chunk of them are tied to my players' backstories. I actually went in with each player, and I've been meeting with them one at a time to really plug their backstory into various factions. And if you're watching this and you're one of my players and you're thinking, what? You didn't tell me that I was connected to a faction. Surprise, you are. You just don't know it yet. Yay! Within the city of Asavrish, tieflings are the most prominent, well, not most prominent, not most numerous, but wealthiest of races. The royal family at Orbitsal, the king, the queen. I haven't really quite done all of the work on them, but they are tieflings. Specifically, they are winged and hooved tieflings. And so within like the tiefling circles, if you have wings and hooves, you are considered the highest tiefling, and you are one of the wealthiest members of the society. Actually, I think the way that I did it was if you have wings and hooves, that's only the royal family. If you have wings, you're really wealthy. If you have just hooves, you're pretty wealthy still. And if you're just a tiefling, I mean, even then, even if you're just a tiefling, you're still wealthy. You're just not royalty, quite. But all tieflings are kind of elevated by this society. It's a very corrupt society. It's not nice. It's cutthroat. It's evil, and the rich get richer, and the poor get poorer consistently. All the other major races fall within the city, kind of variously. But except for humans, there aren't a ton of humans within the city, which I need to keep remembering because I keep making human NPCs. So I need to remember that there are less humans in the city that I created, and I need to do the work for that. Yeah, so I'm going to show the area around Aesivrish. So this is the city right here of Aesivrish, and this is the city, or the area around Aesivrish. The Littervallian Mountains, this forest that I haven't named yet, Fort Kentras, Fort Galdor, Fort Trudir, the Bay of Abornos, and it cuts off, but this little sliver of the lake you can see right here is Lake Kentara. And there's a little port town of Farrington. So the way that the city works, City of Aesivrish is a very prominent city within the Kingdom of Orbitsal because of the mine in the city right here. I'm moving my mouse. The mines of Aesivrish they mine multiple different things. They are very prominent for mining coal. They're very prominent for mining metallic ores, but more specifically, the mines of Aesivrish have uncovered a type of powered gem. This gem is extremely powerful in that it creates electricity. These gems are now being used across the Kingdom of Orbitsal to power mech suits that the guards wear in Aesivrish, or that super soldiers wear. Cars for really wealthy, really rich people in the royal families. Trains, which are present in my world and are powered by this gem. And it is a gem that is monopolized by Orbitsal, and more specifically monopolized by the city of Aesivrish. However, the city is in a bit of an awkward location. It is on the port to the ocean. That's the Arbornian Ocean, which connects out to the rest of the world and the various other continents. And about I want to say it's about a week's walk on foot from the city to the little port town of Farrington is the only way, or the fastest way, sorry, to connect to the capital. So we're gonna pull up a bigger map. So you can see Aesivrish right here, and this is the little town of Farrington, and then all the way across Lake Kentara, just cuts off, just on the other side of where the screen cuts off, is the capital of Orbitsal, Zahav. So right over there, that kind of trade dock is the fastest way to get goods, like in large quantities, from Aesivrish to Zahav. So they'll port and they'll send these large quantities of gems to the capital, and it'll be heavily guarded caravans, and it's really attractive for various other kingdoms, other criminals, especially the Kingdom of Mevira. There are other ways, aside from just sailing across Lake Kentara. You can go through the Littervallian Mountains in the north, and you can go south through Mevara itself. The border is this river right here, and then this river down over here. Which actually the river over here cuts off. Fantastic. But this river right here is the border in the south, so you would have to cross into Mevira. Mevira is a really, really cool kingdom south of Orbitsal, ruled by dark elves, drow. One of the things in our world is due to, I guess I can mention it, the breach. It basically, 500 years ago, due to events unbeknownst to most people, the Underdark had a massive breach appear in it, deep in the ocean, and ocean water began to flood into the Underdark. So the Underdark is flooding, and ocean levels are decreasing. So all of this land that the campaign is set on is actually new land. But more specifically than that, Mevira, right here, is a kingdom run by Dark Elves who were forced out of the Underdark by the flood, so by the breach. So they have moved into a desert kingdom. It's actually mostly desert. It's all sandy. It's really gross. It's not cut out for dark elves, and so they're really not happy with that. So there's a lot of tension between them and the kingdom of Orvitsal right now, and that tension is ripe to just boil over. Alright, zooming back into a bit of a smaller frame. So that's the big frame. That's the world immediately around the kingdom of Orvitsal. There's two other kingdoms to the far east. Oh, I guess I'd be looking like this. To the far east of Orvitsal. They are the Ogode tribe and the Mugunohai tribe. They are kind of Japanese stylized kingdoms. One is completely tabaxis, and then the other one is mostly humans. Really, really cool area out there, mostly in mountainous regions now, because they were originally the continents, but as the water levels have been receding, what was an archipelago has turned into this, what is now most of Lazamin, the Litter Valley Mountains, and that kind of thing. So those kingdoms exist, but those are really far away, and I haven't finished mapping them, so we'll worry about them later. For now, let's zoom back in to Asavrish, more specifically. So Asavrish, like I mentioned earlier, I've flooded it with factions, and I've tied those factions into my players and their backstories. The way that I have decided to run this campaign, and I've talked with my players about how we're running this campaign, and they all really prefer it to be run this way, so this is the goal. This campaign is being run a little more lax, a little more freeform around them. So last campaign was kind of railroaded because we were all a little new to D&D, we were figuring things out, and we had a plot, and they really wanted to finish that before we moved on to this campaign. This campaign is a little more driven by them. So I created the world around my 7 players. Each one of their backstories ties into various factions, various kingdoms, various nations, various otherworldly entities. And I have gone through and kind of weaved a web. And as we begin playing in a month, we're going to begin to unravel that web, and we're going to begin to dive into the world that I created around them. So I waited to create a decent chunk of this world until I met with the players. And I'm not finished meeting with them all, so I'm still doing a lot of work on this. But I'm meeting with each player, connecting them into the world, and then building more of the world around them, their backstories. Quite a few of my players handed me a blank sheet and told me create the backstory for them. So that's been really awesome, really fun, and I'm really, really excited to dive in and really see what that turns into. So, going back to my list of notes and introduction stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited. Campaign will start at level 1. Technically, I'm doing a session 0. I'm doing them in groups, so I've got 2 groups of 2 and 1 group of 3, where we're running session 0s in the weeks leading up to the start of the campaign. Each one of those session 0s starts at level 1, and then we're picking up the campaign after that. So most of my players will probably still be level 1. We might have a couple players who manage to hit level 2. I doubt that's going to happen, and if it does, it'll make it more interesting. But we're starting them at level 1, and we're just really kicking it off. Tavern start from the beginning in the Wooden Shoe Tavern. This has been a little bit of an introduction into who I am, who we are, what we're doing, what's the goal. More videos will be coming up on this channel. My goal is to, before the first session, have anyone who wants to watch these videos be prepared to be introduced to the world in session 1. So I'm going to be diving into a little bit more cool stuff of how the world works. I'm going to introduce you guys to Bane. I'm going to introduce you guys to Maggiano. I'm going to introduce you guys to the Seven Sons. I'm going to dive into a little bit more of the world's backstory and really kind of connect things like that. And we'll see where that all ends up leading as the campaign moves forward. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching, if you've made it this far. Be sure to let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the video. Let me know if any cool ideas you've got and you want us to throw into the campaign. I'd be more than willing to. Any cool ideas you want to see for the channel. But make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you later.